Good evening, everyone. Good evening once more. Welcome to Njenje Media TV. My name is Mazi Ezoke. And this evening, we are going to be looking at the title suggests the slap fiesta in Awka. Many people, as you all know, have spoken about this. And many a times, those have taken lead in speaking about what transpired when and during the time Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo was being sworn in as the governor of Anambra State. As that was happening, we all saw what happened and what it's now known as slap fiesta. Some have used words that many women have disagreed with. Some also uh, have argued that why is it that this issue concerning women is being majorly discussed by men? Now, to do justice to this evening, in order to look at what actually transpired, the perspective of a mother, a woman of substance, is very much needed at this point in time. And to do that with me, I have my dear sister, the Amazon of Niger Delta, in the person of Annkio Briggs, here with me this evening. Dear sister, I say to you, you're welcome to Njenje Media TV.
Thank you very much, Mazi. Good evening, everyone. And thank you
Nice to
for having me.
nice to speak to you once more. Nice to speak to you. Nice to have you here with me. Now, obviously, you and I have spoken just a little about what transpired in my own state. I always use that word emphatically, my own state of Anambra, and a collective state for that indeed. And that state is known as the light of the nation. Recently, that was last week, there was a transition. During that transition ceremony, Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo was about to be sworn in. Suddenly, there was a commotion. In that commotion, which you and I eventually learned was a slap that happened. The other day, we saw it in a Rise TV, Dr. Ruben Abati used some words that as I have read online, that so many women have said that those words could be termed as derogatory. Having listened to all this, I want to know from you, what is your view about that slap? Was it needed or was it in self-defense?
Good evening again, everyone. And once again, thank you for having me on this your show that has made you famous with is it YouTube or Facebook? And I said I want to follow in your footsteps. Anyway, to more serious matters. Quite honestly, I watched the the video. I didn't watch the swearing in. I was in the process of doing other things when my phone rang and somebody said, you need to, are you watching Anambra swearing in? I said, no, I'm not. Say, you need to watch Anambra swearing in. I said, what is happening? They said, Lady Bianca has slapped, Mrs. Ojuku has slapped the wife of the former governor. So I switched in, but by the time, of course, I got in there, the process had ended, and the whole issue was now flying all over the place. People were sending it to each other, and I made some calls, and began a picture began to emerge. This picture very clearly shows that number one, the wife of the former governor of Anambra State, Mrs. Obiano, first of all, is used to slapping people in Anambra State. If I am wrong, you have to correct me because I am speaking from hearsay. But these are the things that have led up to where we are today. Now, also, after this issue emerged, stories began to emerge that somebody like Mrs. Ojuku is aggrieved, and the story behind her being aggrieved over a period of time is the issue of disrespect that she feels and believes that has been shown her husband, having been one of the leaders of the Abga party before he died.
Mhm.
Being also, I think he ran for or attempted to run for
President.
presidency, for president at when he was alive. Also, that since his death, that Bianca has always had a posthumous birthday party for him. And then stories began to emerge that a traditional ruler from your state in from that area had also issued a statement a day after, now indicating that Bianca is a title holder in your custom, in your culture. In my culture, women are not in Calabari culture. Let me not go outside of that. In my culture, women are not given chieftaincy titles. So it's um it's strange to me when I hear women have title, but then that's other people's culture. But in my own culture, in Calabari land, women are not given title. But she's a title holder. That's one. Two, she's the wife of a revered personality, now late, of your state and of Alibo, of Ndibo people, and in plays a great role in the history, the recent history of Ndibo. But what struck me at that while the stories were going on, because you know me, we've known ourselves for a while now. I don't like to discuss issues that I don't have information, quality information on, because I don't like to say things and perhaps end up going back to say, oh, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I didn't quite understand it or I didn't quite get it. So I tend to not speak very jump into issues as soon as they occur. I try to find out the facts on this issue. So as I began to do my investigation, and I also put out a call to you, it began to emerge that when Obiano, 8 years ago, and his wife wanted the ticket from Abga, that they actually went to Bianca. Now, bearing in mind at the time, excuse me, at the time that Obiano wanted this ticket, the late Odumegu Ojukwu was already dead. And so they went to Bianca and knelt down in front of Bianca, which is the normal political way of showing loyalty
Sure.
and asking for things. But that's at some point the person will come to regret it, which I'm sure in this case is what may or may not have happened. I'm not in anybody's mind. But then I began to wonder, well, if you went to kneel down in front of somebody to ask for something as a political support, then that person must be important in the realm of things in that state or in that political party. But then we also heard that when Bianca wanted to go for the seat of the Senate, that these very people whom she had supported or given her blessing to become a governor were also the people that seem to have scuttled her own political ambitions in the state. So it began to become very clear that truly there are issues, very clearly underlining issues. I heard that Bianca had earlier on said to them that anything that they are doing in the states in the future while they still were governor, that she would not attend. So, having
As a
said,
means of protest.
as a means of whatever the means, whatever her reasons, that she had said so. All right.
Mm.
Now, bearing in mind, in my opinion, bearing in mind that Soludo himself, she supported Soludo. So if she supported Soludo, then Soludo invited her to his swearing in. Let me put it like this. The governor of my state, I supported the governor of my state. At a point, I supported him. I began to support him based on what was going on, and then supported him again for second tenure. And I was invited to his swearing in. So now, for somebody of the personality of Bianca, whether you hate her or you don't, or you love her, she is a personality. You may like her personality or you may not like her personality. She is the living wife of somebody that is highly revered in the state and highly revered in Alibu, and even outside of Igbo people. He's revered now. So somebody invited her in her capacity as who she is, and then of course in her capacity as the wife of the late Odumegu Ojukwu. I
Mm.
think that having been invited um, to an occasion, a grand occasion such as that she was within her rights to be there if she chose to honor that invitation. She was within her rights to be there first as Bianca, as a living human being, a woman that has achieved a lot, in some of our eyes, maybe not in everybody's eyes, but she's achieved. And then as the wife of Odumegu Ojukwu. So I I believe that, having heard the story, first of all, like the governor's wife was not even at the event with her husband, which she should have been, because this is a time where they are handing over, she as first lady, to the incoming governor, and his wife as first lady. She came late. Now Bianca herself has said that she was reeking of alcohol. Now that's between Bianca and her and people around them as to whether she was or she was not. I am repeating what Bianca has said. So like my grandmother would say, na shashi, onye gwaram shashi. So that if I'm telling a lie, let the person who told me be the liar, because I'm
Mhm.
repeating what I heard. I didn't see, I didn't smell. Okay,
Mhm.
so now she came in, according to what we heard, she didn't sit with her husband. She went and sat in the seat of the chief judge, who was carrying out his constitutional duties, swearing in the governor. Now, she eventually got up from her seat. That aspect of it I saw, and strutted and penguined and skipped. And I'm a woman, so I'm describing what I saw. And
Okay.
I
I
was
think.
amazed when I saw this, and because there was like a bar, a pole rather, directly in front of where um, Bianca was sitting. And actually, having seen where Bianca was sitting, I think Bianca should not have sat there. Again, I blame Soludo for this. Next time, if he's inviting Bianca to any of these things, he should give
Okay,
Bianca a
let me
place
let me interrupt
deserving
you.
of
Hold
who,
on.
of who she is. I think you should allow me to land with why I'm going to take the positions that I am taking. So now, what transpired between her and Bianca is depending on what the people there will tell us and what Bianca herself has told us. So now, from when she got to Bianca and when the slap was released to her, I think that for the mere fact that she got up from her seat and went to Bianca, she asked for that slap that she got.
Okay. So, when you talked about penguining, I thought, okay, at this point, maybe for the benefit of our viewers who haven't or who may have forgotten of the clip, so let's quickly play that part and see how she moved from her seat. You can see her there in pink,
Yeah.
here standing up, and that's catwalk. I don't know. Some people have called it catwalk. I don't know what you may call it,
Not
penguin walk or catwalk. You know. So at this stage, at this point, the journalists have been asked to remove or to stop recording, to stop, don't get anything out. But I think from your point of view, the provocation happened for the fact that she stood up. And if you watch the video, if you have zoomed it, which we do have another clip where it is zoomed a little bit, and you kind of get a perspective from another angle, it appears that she touched Bianca. It wasn't only a verbal assault, there was also, as it may appear, a physical assault to that. Do you think that probably would have aggravated the whole scenario to the point of the slap fiesta that we saw? I mean, many people are
absolutely.
saying that is a slap that was, that happened in Awka and resoundingly heard all over the world globally.
All over the world, even in Spain and in the Vatican, and in Ghana, anywhere where she has served Nigeria. See, they Bianca was sitting down, minding her business. First of all, you must allow me to emphasize this. Looking at where Bianca is sitting and looking at the occasion, and bearing in mind that she was invited by the governor himself, by the incoming governor, to attend his swearing in. He did not place her in a good sitting position at all. I think that that was disrespectful where he kept her to sit. Next time, if he wants her to attend his program, he must sit her in a proper place. It is wrong to put her on a stage there and put her in a chair, on an ordinary chair behind comfortable chairs. She deserves more than that. So perhaps that may have given the impetus which picked up Mrs. Obiano from her seat unwillingly, if you like, because I mean, I'm hearing that her husband himself was shocked that she got up, picked her up from her seat, and took her to another woman's seat to have a verbal confrontation with somebody who did not call her to come to her. She physically went to Ojuku's wife, and whatever she said to Ojuku's wife that made Ojuku's wife to react in the way that she reacted, that is Ojuku's wife prerogative, and she exercised that right. So whatever made her to slap her, it came out of Obiano's wife's mouth. And it would not have come out of her mouth if she didn't leave her seat. And don't forget, further on, which I hope you will bring out, she called her unprintable name. She didn't say it once, she said it twice to the hearing when her wig was halfway down her head as she was sitting next to her husband. She did not behave like a lady. And quite honestly, I also recall, actually, I don't know if you remember this. I think I actually brought it up in our private conversation, where during the lockdown, whether she went to America before the lockdown or she got out somehow, like some of us were stuck out in between. We couldn't go back home. I wanted to go back to Nigeria, but I couldn't go back. I was stuck here until the routes were open for me to go back home. And she was, as a governor's wife, she was one of the people in Nigerian, I don't know whether she has dual nationality, that was able to take
The
the
COVID shot.
coronavirus
Yes.
COVID shot. And
Globally, globally, she was one of those. Yes.
she was sitting in a jeep advising people in Nigeria who don't even have access at that time.
Right.
This vaccine had not even gotten into Africa, not talk of Nigeria. Nigeria was still begging to see, as usual, to see who is going to dash them a vaccine, whether it's China or Russia or whoever is going to dash them vaccine. Now, she was, as a governor's wife, if she was privileged to take, and this shows the sort of person that she is, if she was privileged to be exposed to be one of the first people amongst even Americans to take this shot, the fact that she made such a show shows a level of recklessness as a government official, because she is the first lady of a state in Nigeria merely and only because her husband has been given the grace by his people to serve them. She didn't sit for an exam to become the first lady. She was merely married to a man who eventually became a governor. That did not make her the spokesperson to now be sitting in America, if you like, and taunting people who did not have who did not have the capacity, the ability, the opportunity that she seems to have had, only because she's the governor of Anambra State, to be telling people how good it is to have this vaccine. So if that is the type of person that she is, I'm not surprised as a woman. I'm talking as a woman, I'm talking as a mother, as a sister, as a niece, as everything women are, for her to leave her seat where she was seated by her husband. She is not the governor of the state. She was not elected first lady. She is married to a man who is a governor, with whose responsibility comes with the office of the first lady, which I query constantly. What do we need the office of first ladies for? What exactly do they do apart from slapping men and women when they have the opportunity, and giving food for men, military men to carry for them, and carrying their bags and things like that? What else is it that they do for the people that their husbands are supposed to be governing? That is why I like some governors' wives, people like my governor's wife. Before you see her in public, you better believe that that thing is in her husband's interest. If not in his campaigns, in all this his commissioning of things and stuff like that, she doesn't go, because she's a judge. She's a chief, either a chief judge or a judge, and she's looking for her future in the legal profession. Her husband will one day leave office, which is going to leave office next year, and she will
Now,
still remain in the legal profession.
now there are people here in the comment section saying that when this catwalk happened, that the that Bianca should have walked away, or that Bianca should have either ignored her or walked away, that violence has never been a means of achieving anything. Do you agree with the notion that perhaps Bianca could have ignored her and having, and not to do anything?
See, let me tell you, we're all Nigerians, I beg. We're all women, I beg. That a woman is single. If you're married, one day you may either be unmarried or you may be a widow. Or if you're lucky, you may live until a day or so apart with you and your husband. It happens occasionally to other people. A husband dies today, his wife dies tomorrow. But the fact that a woman is married or is not married does not make her any less of a human being. The fact that a fellow woman walked up to her and said words to her that we were not privileged to hear directly in our ears, but can only go by Bianca's own utterances and other people that heard what Mrs. Obiano said. To say that Bianca should have walked away, walked to where? Where should she have walked away to?
Maybe dig a hole and go inside.
Back to her husband, back to her house, back to her car. Why should she walk away when a fellow woman comes to confront her, insulting her? Why should she walk away? Maybe even extending that insult to her husband. Why should she walk away?
Now,
Whether her husband is dead or whether her husband is alive. This is her way of loving him and expressing that love. She was invited to that place. She was not informed at any time of the invitation that she may be insulted by the outgoing governor's wife. The governor's wife had no right, none whatsoever, either as as a governor's wife or as an ex-governor's wife, to walk up to a fellow woman in a public outing, whether she liked her or she didn't like her, whether she wanted to show her something or she didn't want to show her something, to walk up to her and insult her. These people saying the same thing will be the same people who would say, if she had just walked away, didn't answer her, will therefore say, you see, Bianca self, they fear Obiano's wife. No, Bianca is a human being. She's somebody's daughter. She's somebody's mother. She's somebody's wife. She's not a nobody. If Obiano's wife thinks that she's somebody enough to get up and go and put her hands on Bianca and made some utterances to her, from the story we're hearing, Bianca ignored her when she was talking. Bianca ignored her twice when she was talking. Then she put her hands on Bianca. So at that point, she assaulted Bianca. By merely putting her hands on Bianca, she assaulted her. All Bianca did was defend herself. So that slap, in my opinion, was actually a slap of self-defense. And may I say this, Mazi, that a woman does not have a man. Women sit on or stand by the left-hand side. Is it the left or right of their husbands?
it's
It's
left.
such a long time for me. Okay, it's such a long time for me that I don't remember. Now, women are supposed to sit by the left or stand by the left of their husbands or their partners. My brother, if you don't have a husband, it does not make you any less of a human being. Men should stop this nonsense that if you have a husband, the level of respect you get is different from if you don't have a husband. The level of respect you get, you are respected for who you are, for what you have achieved, and not because of who you're. Oh, okay, look, the Obiano's wife, look at the respect and the so-called responsibility that comes with marrying the governor. And look at how she's abused it in 8 years and misused it in 8 years. No way. Bianca should not have walked away. Bianca, that would be a weakling to have walked away. Why should she walk away? A fellow woman walks up to you, insults you, calls you name, and then you pick up your bag and you walk away. What are you trying to prove? You're trying to prove that you cannot speak for yourself. You cannot stand up for yourself. She's somebody's mother. She has children. She has a girl, a young lady as a daughter that is in coming out of her 18, going 19, 20, that will be married in the next few years. What type of what is she showing her that she cannot stand up for herself? She has sons. What is she showing them that she cannot stand up for herself? No. In my opinion, that woman putting her hands on Bianca and actually leaving her seat to go and speak to Bianca, she was completely out of order. And the response that Bianca gave her is the only response that Bianca could have given her. What should she do? Go into a shouting match with her? That one say you are Shawo, the other one say you're not a Shawo. No. She settled it. Okay, now men box themselves. What do you call it? Do you call it a cat fight? Look, I've looked up in the dictionary. The dictionary says that when two women are in this type of situation, it is out of bitterness and aggrievement. That's what the Collins or Oxford Dictionary says. I wrote it down. Says and then it says a dispute carried out with intense hostility and bitterness. That is how you describe a cat fight. Now, the Merriam-Webster dictionary says this about a word called a cat fight. And I think this is where women, according to what you told us earlier, that women are objecting to it, which I also objected to, because I saw that interview with Governor Soludo. And I also repeat again that I believe Soludo owes Bianca an a public apology, not to smile about what happened at his inauguration, unless he's saying that he invited Bianca for her to be assaulted. If that is not what he's saying, he should, as a governor of the state, and being that he respects the husband of Bianca, he should publicly what do you call it?
Apologize.
Apologize for to Bianca, because he invited her to that place. If you invite me to your home, Mazi, and I'm sitting in your living room and I've had an issue with somebody, and that somebody sees me and says, look at you, I think you've come to Mazi's house, I will deal with you, and proceeded to deal with me, and you didn't apologize to me, you don't care for me, you don't love me, you don't respect me.
Maybe Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo probably have done that privately. We do not know.
No. No, Mazi, you see, this is where I'm different. You see, when you insult me publicly, and it's happened between me and my brother governor from my Ijo state, if you insult me publicly, you cannot apologize to me privately. I won't accept it. I will not accept it, because the insult was public. You must apologize, because that's the way to remove the insult. Look, we're all human beings. You know, what you won't want somebody else to do to you, you must not do it to some. It's Soludo telling me that if somebody did that to his wife, he would think that that was okay and that she should have walked away. And he is not the one that said she should walk away. But I'm saying, would he expect his wife to walk away? If his wife walked away, it will actually be an insult on him as well. The Merriam-Webster dictionary says the word a cat fight is a derogatory term. It is in the dictionary. I didn't
So
put it
now,
together.
the,
So
the cat fight.
when I
Sorry,
yeah,
the cat fight reference here. You're referencing the what Dr. Ruben Arti said yesterday on Arise TV.
oh yes, because I watched it. You see, and he also said, and I think people, but it's only his interview with Soludo I'm talking about now. He said to Soludo that he thinks it was a distraction. No, Soludo waved it off. He smiled it off. He laughed. No, this is not a matter of smiling. Bianca is not smiling. This is not a matter of smiling. This is not a matter of waving things off. He should have kept Bianca in a place where she was safe. Obviously, where she was seated, she was not safe. She was not safe at all. She should not have been kept there. That is number one. Now, I've been to functions where I have seen where I was put, where I'm told this is where you will sit. And without any fuss, without anything, I just turned around, pack myself inside my car, and I'm driven home. You can see my brother, I've always believed this. I will not force you to respect me. I won't. I expect you to respect me. Why? Because I respect you. So therefore, I will expect it back from you. But you know what? If you choose, and it is a choice, if you choose to disrespect me, that is your choice. But I will not allow you to disrespect me. And that's
Okay.
exactly what Bianca did. Bianca
Okay.
did not allow that woman to disrespect her.
Now, we will be rounding up quickly, but before we do, there is another angle to the whole story, and I think there was a slap. In that slap, in that commotion, there was a hug. And many are now saying that that hug was an extended one, and people put up bounty on the one who did the hugging. In this clip that we will see the hug in question that have really got tongues wagging. And I want to know you see, this is at this point where people are asking, is he here to separate fight or to tap current? Again, so what do you think? At this point,
let me tell you, if I were there, I would have hugged Bianca as tightly as I could have hugged her. First of all, to make sure that no hands were able to pass through me to reach her. That's number one. Number two, you see, Nigerians always find a way to minimize, belittle things, events, personalities, persons, people in very serious situation. The only person who came in and held Bianca in a way, I am a woman, I'm a human being. In that type of circumstances, believe me, you will feel completely and totally alienated and lost. And there were people there. There were non-people there. There were important people, if you like, that were there. I heard the Senator Ume speak about he was a little bit far off, but he now said that they should take her away, meaning I'm hoping he meant the governor's wife. You know, what that man did, whoever he is, I expected Senator Ume to do that, to go to her, hold her. What is in holding Bianca? She's tying two wrapper, she's wearing a brassiere, she's wearing a blouse, she's wearing gele. What exactly can that man achieve by holding her the way that he held her? What is the meaning of that? If that man held her, it was because nobody else held her. That is why that man held her. In my opinion, as a woman, I would have held her. I don't know whether he knows Bianca from before, whether they are friends, whether he knows her, whether he respects her, whether he did it, whatever reason he did it out of. I will not try to belittle Bianca any further by people saying what they said when that man held Bianca and stood between Bianca and any other person. What he did was he stood between. Look at people there now. How many people went to defend Bianca? How many people went to hold her? There are people there. We can see important people there. We can see Bishop wearing hat there, or maybe it's not Bishop Amakwam, but you can see people there. You can see people in suits. You can see important people. And that woman, Obiano's wife, was still trying to reach Bianca. So for me,
And at this point, at this point, sorry, I think there is another thing. I think there is something critical that also happened here, because we can see that at this point, her husband was trying to somewhat calm her down, or we couldn't hear. That was very inaudible what the husband said, but you can see the reaction was really, really very aggressive to the husband.
Well,
let's take it. See,
okay,
the husband, you see, she shouted back at the husband, because here the husband was basically trying to calm her down. You can see that.
She slapped his hand. He was trying to pull her to sit down. She slapped his hand. Look at it. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what goes on between Governor Obiano and his wife, but the mere fact that he was unable to even stop her from getting up. For crying out loud, they've sworn in the deputy governor. They are now swearing in, not attempting to. The chief judge was swearing in the governor. If anybody was there to distract from this seriousness of Soludo being sworn in, is Mrs. Obiano. Nobody else.
And
she
somehow,
got up.
When you listen to the content of what Soludo was delivering, when you listen and read the content of that, sadly, that incident alone thwarted whatever Soludo spoke that day, that people didn't really, the next day, some of these things were things that should have made national headlines. But because of this singular incident, no one. I know many times, we tried pushing at least 3 core issues taken from that place. But again, none of those issues could trend, because the slap, and because suddenly everybody started making comedies, and you hear people slap exercise in Port Harcourt. They do gym, they now slap. So comedy skits everywhere. So that is actually a tragedy.
Yeah, well, of course it is a tragedy. And for me, when I was watching Mr. Governor, because he says we should refer to him as Mr. Governor, and I totally agree with him. I don't believe in the excellency issue. Definitely, I also heard him say, refer to the Port Harcourt thing. He shouldn't take it lightly. He should not. I mean, the mere fact that he's the wife of his predecessor, the wife of his predecessor, he should sit down in his quiet moment and ask himself, did this woman actually do this on purpose, or was she told to do this the way that she behaved, or was she actually uncontrollable even before her husband left the house? Her husband, from the stories we're hearing, her husband left her behind and came alone. He came to the arena alone. For 1.5 hours, he was alone. It's very clear. The videos will show that he was alone. When she walked in, instead of going to sit with her husband, she sat in the seat of the attorney general. This is unheard of. What type
So
of
that
a, I mean,
means
what
that
type of a
means
behavior is this?
that's a fair point you made, because when we saw Obiano, when Obiano was driven into the government house, he
Yes,
came down from the car alone, and when the wife
yes,
came, one would
yes,
assume that the normal thing to have done, because your husband is already here, is to go sit beside your husband. So it
yes. And
appears something was already wrong at home.
Mazi, let me tell you something. These days, I think they still do it. There are when I was growing up after the Civil War, when I came out to the United Kingdom and all of that, there were schools that were called finishing schools. They were called ladies' schools. They were called schools of etiquette. These schools were set up primarily for daughters of lords, so that when they marry into the royal family, they will know how to sit. They teach you how to sit
Mhm.
down when you're getting into a car,
School
how
of
to get
etiquette.
out of
Yeah.
the car. Yes, school of etiquette. Now, what I'm trying to say is that even in civilized countries, when you become the wife of a public servant, i.e., a president, maybe the wife of,
A mayor, a
I don't know, the
governor.
head of the UN, a governor or something like that, you actually have to undergo an indoctrination. It's not that you're not educated or you don't know anything. No, but this is being the wife of a president, for instance, or a governor, is a periodic thing. It will last only for some time. And therefore, you need to know how to relate to people. It's a public service, for crying out loud. The people don't learn how to relate to you. You learn how to relate to people. In case you are an arrogant so and so, in case you're proud, they make you put your pride down because you're a servant of the people. And I don't think for 1 minute that Mrs. Obiano would have undergone that. And I think our governors should make sure that their wives go through, even the governors themselves go to Kuri in Jos there, where how to behave and how to keep secrets and how to there are certain times men come in to the where you are with your husband. You don't need your husband to tell you to leave. You just have to leave because they're going to talk politics. Politics is not your business because you're married to the governor. And I really don't see why we should have the offices of first ladies. It should be scrapped because it's of no value, it's of no consequence. What are they doing? Childless, the motherless people, children's home. What motherless children's home? What are they doing for? Does one motherless child's home get better after a governor's wife? No. Do they improve it? No. Do they make it better? No. Do they build new ones? No.
So
So what exactly is it and that is why the president of Nigeria was able to say that that his wife should be in the kitchen and in the other room.
in
I
Azarum.
think he knew in the other room. I think he knew what he was saying, or up to a point. I don't usually agree with him. I don't agree with him even on that because I think he was belittling women when he said that. I mean, he was standing next to one of the most powerful women in the world at the time that he said that thing. And she kind of like turned around and looked at him in utter shock. So the point I'm trying to make is that one, Soludo should apologize to Bianca. publicly. Not that you should pick up the phone and say, because no, 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 no. Apologize to her publicly, like the traditional ruler said. And not only that, the Obiano himself should apologize. His wife misbehaved, for crying out loud, to the extent that she slapped his hand. Everybody was see. She was referring to Bianca as a shower twice, while she was sitting next to her husband. What type of a thing is that? While she was sitting next to her husband, she uttered that word twice. What is her? From where did she get that impression that that is who Bianca is? Like my people will say, it takes one to know one. Otherwise, how on earth would she, the wife of a governor of a state, it's somebody you went to kneel down for? Is she ever going to? Did we know that she and Obiano went to kneel down for Bianca? If it wasn't that now the traditional ruler is now saying it, that she went to kneel down. He's angry. He's angry because, oh, wait a minute, you went and you knelt down in front of this woman. You, not only you, your husband, both of you knelt down in front of this woman. So at what point between this kneeling down and the end of the 2 tenures that you said, are you now going to come and terrorize this woman to the fact that you said something to her, and she decided that the only way she could answer you was to slap you? And you had laid hands on her first. You got up from where you were and you went to talk to her. And men are the ones discussing this thing since it happened in television studios. They are discussing it, calling it all sorts of names. I think it is highly disrespectful for men to be discussing this. If don't men box themselves? Is it not a man that was using a mace to pursue another man in a Rivers State House of Assembly and nearly brought his brains out? Was it a woman? Was it not a man? Why didn't, I mean, so people should give women, I demand, and that's why I say to you that I will not force anybody to respect me. I expect to be respected because I respect people. And not only do I respect people, I place myself in situations where you will have no justification to disrespect me. But if you choose to disrespect me, I can't stop you. But that is your choice. But I will not allow you to disrespect me. And that's what Bianca did. Women should not allow anybody to disrespect them, whether it is a fellow woman or whether it is a man. The way men are taking this Bianca slapping Obiano's wife as lightly as they are taking it, it shouldn't be. It's not a light issue. This woman got up from her seat, went to another woman. Is it because she's a woman that it is not important? She went to another woman.
But
And
even
then,
if, no, sorry, but sister here, even if that wasn't, even if those were men, I do not think that, you know, that men are really taking it lightly. I mean, it has happened. I think what I read online, what I hear people talk about is, okay, it's a sad thing that this happened. It has taken the shine of a very powerful speech delivered by the new governor. The content is lost in slap or in slapology, as some people will call it. You know, but not that men are really. I mean, I don't want to be of that school of thought that is being taken lightly. Okay, so but before I let you, put your thoughts here, I will say, those of you watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Instagram, please share this stream, share this stream. Thank you very much for being here with us. I am still discussing this issue with my dear sister, Annkio Briggs, the Amazon of the Niger Delta. Sister, please, can you go ahead?
it is really a pity that the inaugural speech of Mr. Governor was treated with disrespect. It was treated with disrespect. That's what it was. The, it, it seemed to me like Mrs. Obiano did not want his speech to be heard. Why can't we look at it like that?
Well, okay, you put
She
it
did,
this way. If in the words of
yeah,
Bianca,
she did,
that she could smell something, no, that one could actually
yeah,
say maybe, she's not in a very well balanced mental state at that point. So maybe whatever
yeah.
was the content of that speech was irrelevant to her. She probably would not even interested in listening to the speech. Abinisha.
It doesn't matter whether she was listening to the speech or not. I don't think she ever went there to listen to anything. She may have, before ever the speech, to do something to make sure that, as you put it, and as many people are saying, that the shine was taken off of what Soludo was saying. Whatever the case may be, this woman, this governor's wife, Mrs. Obiano, she went from her seat. That cannot be overlooked. That should not be overlooked. She got up to look. Yanga dey sleep, trouble go wake am. No be me talk am. Yanga dey sleep, trouble go wake am. Abi trouble dey sleep, Yanga go wake am. No be me talk am. But the reality is that she misbehaved in a way that nobody heard what the governor was saying. It was not Bianca that made people not to hear what the governor was saying. It was the governor's, the outgone. He was already outgone. He was an outgone governor. He was just there to see himself gone, to witness himself going. Now, when she left the house, when he left her, we are told, if I'm lying, let the person who is said, passing this information be the liar, that he left her. Why did he leave her? Now, if he left her for the reasons we are told that he left her, he should have left information and order that under no circumstances was she to be brought to the venue. If it were me, that is what I would do. If
Yeah,
you
but
are
but
living
but
in
bear in
that
mind at
state,
this stage the power is almost waned.
no, the power is not, unless if she's going to get the key and drive the car. If she does not have the key to drive the car, and she calls John, and John is not there to drive her, and she calls David, is she
Yeah,
going
but
to
John,
slap
so that slap could
them?
have probably landed on John or whoever the driver was.
Well, what I'm saying is that if she didn't see a John or a David or a Joseph to ask for the key to drive her to the venue, nobody would have driven her to the venue. If they had just put it down that she should not have left under the state that we are told that she was in, she should not have left. This would not have happened. It is not Bianca's fault. It is the fault of Obiano himself, knowing the state his wife was in, and also his wife knowing the state she was. Even the way she was walking showed you that there is truth to what they were saying. Nobody walks like in that manner. The way I called it, penguin herself to Bianca. Have you ever seen a penguin walk? She penguined herself to Bianca. And whatever she said to Bianca was what led to the slap. Now, nobody should tell me that Bianca should not have slapped her. They should ask Bianca, what did she say to her? And how did she feel before she slapped her? Why did she go there? Why did she taunt her? Why did she disrespect her? Was she the one that invited Bianca to the place? No, she did not. So what was it that made her to leave her husband and went to Bianca? Is she going to kiss her on the cheeks? Is she going to tell her thank you for coming because you said you won't come, now you're here, thank you? Was that what she said? That's not what
Thank
she said.
you.
That's
Sister,
not what she
thank you very much. I can't thank you enough for this enlightening evening. And, obviously, we will keep continuing. We've tried reaching out to Bere to have her view on what transpired that day, but the information we got this today was that she wasn't in a position to speak to anyone regarding that. Again, we'll keep trying. What we do here is to have a balanced view. We all we know is the things that's been said and the videos we saw. Be that as may, what we had this evening is a woman's perspective on what transpired in Awka during the swearing in of Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo. My sister, thank you once more. The slap fiesta in Awka for you giving us the woman's perspective. My guest, as always, is Annkio Briggs, the Amazon, as I fondly call her. Now, there are people asking a question before you go. When you talk about your grandmother all the time, let's
Yeah.
do this maybe in Igbo. Someone here said, Mazi, can you please ask their elder sister Annkio Briggs what's her Igbo name? Grandmother nwekwara afọ Igbo nyere.
Adago.
Ada Aro. That's it.
Adago.
Adago. Wow. Okay, Adago. Inugia. So, otu anụ nwe ịbụ Adago. Na ọ bụkwa na ọgụ nwa ka emelụ diva nọ ukpu ise ka ị ama mmadụ machi onye nwe ntị.
Na-agwa gị eziokwu. Ọ na-ama anyị aka ntị nnabata ụlọ. Nne m ga-achụpụ m n'ụlọ.
On that note, I say thank you very much for being my guest here. Everyone, thank you very much for being part of this conversation. Please, please, please like, share, and subscribe to this platform. We love you all. Thank you, and good night, everyone.